Recording is in progress. We should probably do this. Hello, dear listener, dear viewer. I'm Ian Lee. This is Random Access Memories, a retro gaming podcast where each week I invite a guest on to bring a retro game with them. And, well, maybe we should talk about it more than we have done historically. Matt Murray is here. A quarter of the Computer Game Show podcast, but so much more than just that. And I've not quite finished this week's episode of your show, but I love it. As you know, I'm a big fan. We can go the whole show without mentioning David Turner's if you want. That can be the one mention.
You've broken that already.
That can be the one mention because he's in that pod going, I'm the orchestrator. I'm the orchestrator. So I leave it up
That's
to
one of
you.
my favorite Prodigy songs, actually.
Leave it up to you if you want to mention him. But I do want to say, and you said I could talk about this, you don't do solo missions. All the others go off and do other podcasts and things, and you don't do it.
No.
Is this your actual first?
Actual first ever one, yeah.
Podcast?
Actually, first ever podcast. No, yeah, I've been invited on other shows in the past, and I really appreciate those that have invited me, but I've often said no, and honestly, it's just due to like lack of confidence because I'm so used to podcasting with them four and with David and other people in the past. I'm just like, well, I know how it works. We all know each other, so yeah, there's always a bit of risk going with someone new. But when you asked, like, I couldn't say no to you because and I've told you this privately, but I loved Rise when I was younger. I love 11 o'clock show. So I couldn't say no. And also, honestly, not just that as you asked me, like the actual fee you're offering is ridiculous, frankly. Like I couldn't even afford to turn that down. That's like 3 months rent. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So once again, thanks for that.
you're one of the few that's getting that. The others from the Computer Game Show will cut
Sizable.
this bit out. They're not. They did it for free. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's good on them. But
we'll cut that out. You are deserving of that money that's coming your way. Ka-ching.
thank you.
So, because you don't, that really surprises me. You saying, because I don't have the confidence, because I would put you as the second most confident on that show.
Well, yes, I am. I'm quite, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have dealt with this for a long time where it's very easy to be confident on a podcast. You know what you're doing, you
Yeah.
pop in, you're clicking. But, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm just talking, I just don't know anything. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I'm just a quip man or a pun man.
Yeah.
That's literally who I am. Maybe this episode just go, blow some people's minds. I know more than the old quip or pun, or it will actually confirm I know nothing.
And I feel the same thing. I get asked to go on like retro podcasts, old man stuff, and I always think, well, I don't know anything, but this is about your experience and about hanging out with you because I don't know you that well. We've met a few times, and I don't know you that well. And can we be friends?
I'd love to be friends. Yeah, let's fully get into it. I mean, I know. As we record this, most recent episode of this show is Sean's, the longest one.
It's very long.
We need to at least double that.
Okay.
I'm get settled in. We're going to talk about everything. There's a lot of big subjects to cover. Thinking Trump's tariffs. I'm thinking,
Wow.
what we're doing in the Middle East.
Gosh.
Also the game. We'll cover a lot.
I tell you what. Well, let's do those in reverse order.
Okay,
so let's start with the
45
game.
minutes on the Gaza Strip. Okay.
Let's hang on. You're going to see cats climbing around. This is Patty.
Oh.
Let's do something I don't normally do on this show. It's just me. Let's start with the game. What is? No, I'm not going to hold that thought. I just want to go back a little bit. What was computer games like for you as a kid?
Yeah, so my first computer was a Commodore 64. My parents weren't really into technology, or I haven't said that my dad had one like the first mobile phones, and it was like a massive phone, so maybe he was a bit of a nerd, but it was just beating out of him. But yeah, he took me around his friend Steve's house. Steve he worked with, they're both electricians, and Steve had an Amiga 500.
Okay.
Which I thought, man, that looks so cool. But he's like, I've got a Commodore as well if you want. And I was like, yeah, I love a Commodore 64. And I love that thing with the cassette drive and taking 45 minutes to load a game. And yeah, so Commodore's my first computer. I mean, in school, all the timelines are going to be mixed up here. But yeah, at school we were playing like Lemmings on I mean, maybe it's a BBC Micro. I don't know. It was a maybe it's like a 486, but we were playing Lemmings in school.
Mm.
Me and my friend Martin at lunchtime, we would just not eat and we'd just play Lemmings. That's what we do at lunch. Um, yeah, and also stuff from school. I had an old watch, a little digital watch, and I would give that to my friend Aaron. I'm just gonna keep naming people. It doesn't matter, does it? Like no one's
Name
gonna
them
listen.
all as long as you're
Yeah.
not calling them out for being wrong uns, then we're
No,
good.
no. I mean, maybe I should have done my research and check they're not wrong ones, but I'm very sure they're not. But yeah, Aaron Knight had a Game Boy, and I really wanted to play that Game Boy. So what I would do is, he could wear my watch all day for me to be able to play his Game Boy at
I
lunch, and
remember
we
these
played that. I think it was
trade-offs.
like a Bugs Bunny game, which we absolutely loved, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely brilliant. So anything I had like on me, whether it's lunch, whether it's a watch, I was giving it away to like be able to play Lemmings at lunch or this Bugs Bunny game on Game Boy at lunch. Yeah, and then yeah, my first console's Master System 2.
Okay.
Very definitely a Sega household. Didn't get Nintendo for a while, but yeah, I love my Master System.
I was at a gaming thing maybe a couple of years ago, and someone went, "Oh, that's the guy over there that made Lemmings." It's like, "Oh, okay. Do you want me to introduce you to him?" Now, I don't know if I've ever even played Lemmings. I'm aware of it, and I'm aware of its
Oh, you
historical
must have done in
significance.
your time,
Well,
surely.
I've seen it. I think I must have played it,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't really have a big emotional connection with the game. But it would have been rude for me to say to the person, I'm not really that invested in the game, so
Yeah,
no, I
screw
don't
that.
want to go and meet him. So was introduced to this person, and the person introduced us. So it's just me and this Lemmings guy. And I said, "Did you make Lemmings?" He went, "Yeah." I went, "Wicked,"
Sweet man.
and that was it. You
What a
know,
great
it
conversation.
was a great conversation.
So insightful.
It was totally down to me that it didn't go any further. But I can't do that small talk
Was he
kind of
wearing like a
stuff.
Lemmings t-shirt?
Yes, he was,
Okay, I mean you would do, wouldn't you?
and he
You
was
would.
throwing little bombs and falling down
They're just falling
holes.
off a lot, yeah.
I think that's what they
I
do.
still remember so that was on the system we play at least, you put in like the random passwords to get you to a certain level. And the password for our favorite level was double duck. Now, I'm not sure if that still works, but double duck was a password that got you to the level which had absolutely banging music. Me and Martin
Okay,
Day loved that double duck level. But yeah, Lemmings was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
is Lemmings the game you've brought?
No, no. A
Do
shame
you,
that would have been incredible, wouldn't it, if I'd done that? No, no, no,
what
no.
is it? What is the game you have brought? And a reminder: the term retro is very, very loose. It can be whatever you want.
I mean, that's
So,
good.
what is it?
I've bought The Last of Us Part 2. Now, that's a 2020 game. No, I'm joking, Ian. I'm joking, obviously. Although technically it's retro, so
It,
could have
it
allowed it.
we could have. I never forget when I filled in for you once on the computer game show,
You did what?
and that's the yoke, and and you said, "Oh yeah, Ian Lee will be on." I'm trying to remember the exact phrase. Playing some fucking retro shit like Pong.
That sounds like the old me, Ian. I'll be honest with you.
It's a new you,
I've
is
done a
it?
lot of learning, some self, I've really looked into myself and that I probably would have
Playing
used those
some
words.
fucking retro shit like
Yeah, so what's funny is that although I have, I love thinking about the old games I played and, fond memories of things like Alex Kidd and this and that. And I know James had on the show had previously brought that to this parish as well. But I also don't really like retro games. I don't really do retro games
no.
in the traditional sense, I think.
A lot of them are rubbish.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people are scared to admit. A lot of them are Pong's a terrible
And
game.
they control rubbish. I mean, I streamed Metroid, the original Metroid, and I got absolutely ripped to shreds. And I said the controls in this were absolutely wank.
Yeah.
Because they are, and I try to love that game. I mean, some aspects I love, atmosphere, level design, this and that, but the controls, like there's one part in the game where I had to do like a double jump and like a zoom up in the air, and I could not do it. It's doing my nutting. Anyway,
Okay,
that's
so
not the game I brought either.
this is exciting. Let's find out.
So I've brought Sega Rally,
Oh, mate. I'm looking
and
to
I
see.
know you're a Saturn fan as well.
I am a Saturn fan. I haven't got my Saturn underneath here, actually. Go on.
Shame.
Go on.
Yeah, Sega Rally. It's I loved this game from the minute I saw it, and also hailing from Bognor Regis, where we had nothing except for one bar, one club on the pier, but mostly the pier, which had the arcades. And from as early as I can remember, being down there, seeing the arcade games, and Sega Rally was there, and having that at home. Like it, I've also been obsessed over the years with like magazines, and particularly, the Sega ones, official Sega Saturn magazine, Sega magazine, Dreamcast magazine, and there's always talk about Arcade Perfect, Arcade Perfect. Now, we know that Sega Rally on Saturn was like half the frame rate of the PC one, but it just felt so exciting to be able to have the game I've
Yeah.
seen and played in the arcades with my friends at home. Um, yeah.
So, all right. So, I had at least one summer at the Butlins camp in Bognor Regis when
Oh
I was
yeah.
very, very young. Yeah, I saw a child stove in a mouse's head with a brick.
Oh yeah, yeah. You met Brian. Yeah, he's well known in
I
the
did.
area.
That's one of my. Whenever I think of Bognor Regis, it's that horrific moment, and a couple of others. But so, tell me how old were you when you were in the arcade and you played this?
I can't remember. I mean, I couldn't have been that young. I just remember.
Oh,
So
good. Hang on. Are
when
you about 18 or something? Is that?
am I about 18? When I started playing it?
Yes.
No, no. I don't know when I got my Saturn. That's the thing. I mean, so we're going all over the place, but fuck it, we'll come back. But I got my Saturn in the year where the PS1 was basically like kind of getting quite big, and I had a choice that
Okay.
Christmas.
Yeah.
A PS1 or a Sega Saturn. Now, in my friend group, like everyone was always around Peter's house every weekend. It's close to town, and we were playing International Victory Goal.
Yeah.
We're playing always like big Sega, Sega games. And I was like, well, I just want that at home. I want to play those games at home. And yeah, my parents were like, do you want a PlayStation 1? And I was like, Sony, who make the Walkmans,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy like a PlayStation sound like a Fisher Price toy. I'm not gonna buy a PlayStation like a child. I'm gonna get a real machine, like a Sega Saturn. I was going to get a Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got that. I mean, it was obviously out in the shops. I'm not sure what age I was, but yeah. So, but being in the arcade, it's just always super super exciting, and having those games at home.
Well, let's go to
Brilliant.
because to put the choice of a PS1, PlayStation, or a Sega Saturn on a
Yeah.
child, that's not fair. I would have been because I kind of dropped out for gaming a bit, and then I saw a Sega Saturn at a friend's house. I saw Wipeout, and I hadn't seen a video game
Yes.
for like 8 years. It's like, oh shit, we got this good, did we?
Yeah.
And that would have been, I'd have been 22 maybe. And I spent, because I backed the wrong side in the Betamax VHS wars. We went beta and I would get beaten
Right.
up
Yeah.
at school for it. I wanted to get this right. So I went from shop to shop and read magazines and reviews of PlayStation versus Saturn. And the thing that persuaded me to get the PlayStation was going to HMV in Oxford Street and seeing the PlayStation section was 3 times bigger than the Sega Saturn. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the horse I need
I
to
mean, that's probably the
back.
case in Bognor Regis Electronics Boutique or Game or whatever it was at the time.
Yeah,
But I still thought, look, like we have having this fun every weekend around Peter's house playing these games. I want that at home. It's not like we can even like really play online together, so it wasn't even that. And yeah, and then it's calmed down now, but for many years I was like, Sony killed my Sega. We know Sega killed
oh,
Sega, but I was always like bitter about the fact that PlayStations. I just you know
wow,
hate. I mean, I've gone
gosh,
for a lot of therapy to get through it, so I think I'm better for it, but
yeah.
sometimes it really still triggers me that
If
Sony are still allowed just to walk around like they own a place, even though they killed Sega.
I can feel your anger.
Yeah, could we have a break?
No, we can't.
No, we can't. Okay, fine.
We need to dig
It's good to
deeper.
get us out now, I guess.
Dump
But
dump on
yeah.
me.
But yeah, like when we used to go to arcades, I used to play Sega Rally every single time. And even in the last 4 weeks, when I've been to Arcade Club up in Leeds, Sega Rally is a game I'll play. Like,
Yeah.
and it still feels as good as it did, then. It's just absolutely, it's still my favorite racing game of all time. It's still one of my all-time favorite games. Just like
It's
the feeling of the controls and the music and the
and the
graphics.
Saturn version is good. I think the Saturn
It's
version
great, yeah.
is really really good, and it's difficult to imagine now how exciting that generation. The Sega Saturn's a great machine, right? And I
Yeah,
think history has
I
treated it terribly. There's some incredible games on there. I think it's a brilliant machine.
mhm.
And it's difficult to convey how exciting that generation was. Like when I saw Wipeout on the Saturn for the first time, I could not it was literally like we tapped into the future.
Yeah.
And things like Sega Saturn being able to bring the arcade home into the living room, that was a wild concept.
Yeah, it was absolutely bonkers. And but I just on other games, like I remember seeing Tomb Raider. I got Tomb Raider, I think, for
Yeah.
Christmas or had it. I was like, there's a real T-Rex in this game. It looks realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider came out on the Saturn first, I think.
It did, yeah, yeah.
I think it
And
was.
it's not PlayStation, it's Sega. Sega had that. Sega Saturn had that. I
Do
mean,
you?
this year actually is actually the 30th anniversary of Sega Rally,
Is
which
it?
yeah, come out in 95, which is
You weren't tempted to go Daytona because I know there's a bit of Sega Rally Daytona rivalry in some areas.
I mean, I still love that. Still love playing out, the arcade, and I had it. But yeah, Sega Rally was the one
Okay.
for me. I also love things like Scud Race, which is great in the arcade. Max TT, also great in the arcade.
Yeah.
Okay on Saturn. But yeah, Sega Rally. I mean, I like rallying. And like back in, I used to love like touring cars and stuff. Like that was like a bit later. But yeah, I was also quite a big fan of racing games, and Sega Rally just had it. And me and my friend Peter were kind of the same kind of level. So whether it's Saturn on split screen or in the arcade. If we're ever together and there's an arcade, like, and we're with our friends, like, they're like, okay, just let them do what they're gonna do normally on Sega Rally for half an hour, just because, yeah, it's just it meant, and it's still brilliant today. I played like 2 or 3 weeks ago in the arcade, still
This
incredible.
is what I was going to ask. We were saying that a lot of old games are shit, and they are.
Yeah,
But
listen,
The Sega Rally stands the test of time for you.
100%, yeah. And maybe it's just because at that moment it was just so important and so exciting that maybe it will forever be great for me. But yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, 3 weeks ago I played it, still immensely fun. I always love it. I mean, I didn't love Sega Rally 2 as much, and there's like Sega Rally 3 in the arcade, not as good. So that's the original Sega Rally is the one for me.
Do
And
you have a Sega Saturn now?
I don't know. I mean, I have always historically sold the console to get the next console, and
Okay.
I do regret it. Like when I got my Saturn, it was in Debenhams in Southampton. My parents bought it, and it they bought an extra pad, and it was classed as a cool pad. It was like semi-transparent. The face buttons were slightly different colors, like pinks and purples, and that thing was absolutely gorgeous. But no, I don't. I do actually have to hand. This is for the video viewers.
Go on.
Say this is a Christmas Nights.
Oh
The
yeah,
actual CD. Just got
yeah.
it to hand, just because the music's still good. But no, I don't have a Saturn, unfortunately. I do think about it a lot, but I just don't know if I'll be bothered to plug it in. And
Get a
it's kind of
Saturn.
nice to look at it from
You
afar
get
rather than
a thing called a Saru, which is a cartridge packed full of games.
okay.
Buy it
That I
on.
own.
Yeah, that you. Oh, Dave hates that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
illegally on the
that's why I did
ROMs.
it.
Go and buy a Saru for 60 quid off of Wish or AliExpress.
Okay,
Every single game you could ever want.
that is tempting.
Um, but I've got so many machines under here that I don't plug in, so I am totally with you
Yeah, the
on
thought of
that.
having all the retro machines plugged in to be able to play sounds great, but then
Yeah,
the dust to have to tidy up, and I was like, like when we've had these like kind of mini retro consoles, they like mini SNES,
yeah,
NES, they look cool, and I'm like, oh man, wouldn't it be nice to get one? But I know I wouldn't play it more than 5 minutes. It's just like a little
yeah.
play thing. But having said that, if I did do a mini Saturn, then that might be the one to break me.
So how do you go from playing Sega Rally to doing a twice nominated nominated for awards, I should say,
Yeah,
podcast? How do you
actually
go?
3 times, but
Okay, and you won.
well, how did I get from podcasting? That's a very good question, Ian. How? No, yeah, we haven't won one yet. But if anything,
Sorry, there's something shining in the back. Oh, it's my
is it
awards.
a
I do
ghost?
apologize. Right. Um, so I'm being flippant. How do you get from playing games to being a podcaster?
Bloody good question, Ian. Well, yeah. So when I was on the Edge forums, Edge Gaming Magazine, still going just about, but I was on the Edge forums for a few years, talking with other like-minded men from your area about video games, and that was having that was nice. And then I went to uni in 2002 and kind of like lost track because I was there when the Edge forums closed down, but I wasn't there for everyone to say, "Hey, everyone, we're joining a new forum
Oh,
called Rollmark or RLL, mukforum.com. And I just kind of missed that bit because I was at university partying and, and also working really hard on
Yeah,
my
of
degree.
course. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I
Congratulations.
didn't actually get my degree in. So that's not
Not you haven't got it yet.
good point. Yeah. I'm still waiting for that computer games programming degree to, well, one for me to complete it, two for it
Yep.
to come through the post.
It'll be a
Yeah.
great
So
day.
I kind of missed that. But in 2004, when maybe, I'd calmed down a bit. I was like, oh, I'm going to go back on the internet, and then found Rollmark and was there. And I knew David on the forum, David Turners, who's obviously now the host of Computer Game Show. Knew him, and then he was mentioned that he was starting a podcast with Michael also on the forum, and I started listening. I mean, I've always been like a big fan of like radio. I remember when I was younger, listening to like I think it's BBC Southern Counties radio at the time, and I can't remember the name of
Who did you listen to on that?
I was meant to Google this before. I don't. I'm gonna have to find. I'm gonna have to find it maybe after. But yeah, like this dude have like his slot was like 10 to 1, and then at 1 o'clock it then flipped to like 5 live, and it was up all night
Okay.
from 1. And I still listen to a bit of up all night now. I
With
just
Dotton Adebayo. I don't know
yeah,
if
Don
Dotton's still
Abai, yeah,
doing it. Yeah.
yeah, and like Rod Sharp, and another
Okay.
great, yeah, just great broadcasters. So I've always kind of enjoyed that and liked, talk radio and that kind of stuff, and always liked, funny things, shall we say. And when David mentioned he was doing this, I listened and I loved it. And actually, I've got something we can deal with right now on this episode.
Let's deal with it. Let's get is it beef?
No. It's something I haven't really read, but I've got. So basically, what happened was David did 2 episodes, and I think I spoke to him a little bit at this point, but not enough. I DM'd him on the forum and was like,
Yeah.
great show, but here's how you can make it better. I mean,
Right.
what a jump top little twat. Anyway, I asked David this week if he had them, the DMs, and he did have them saved, and I've got one now I can read.
Okay, go on. So
Now,
this is you messaging David Turner's 2004?
this is February 16th, 2007.
2007.
Now, I haven't,
Wow.
I did ask David, is there anything offensive in it? He said, no, just a little bit cringy. That's fine. I can live with that. But I haven't actually read through his whole DM. But this is the DM I sent David after and released 2 episodes of this podcast.
Oh, this is going to be good. Go on.
Well, it could be horrendous. I start with why hello. Now, again, maybe at that point, David's intro was why hello there. So, I don't know. Why hello. I'm sending this to Elmo, which is David's kind of online handle.
Yeah, I never got that Elmo thing. I don't understand it.
I think because it's like
he looks like a
Elmo,
Muppet.
laughing Elmo.
Oh, okay.
Laughs a lot in it,
Okay. All right. Yep.
It is a bit weird. You're right. I'm sending this to Elmo, but there's a carbon copy winging its way to Michael too. Don't hate me, Michael. It's just that Elmo's hotter.
That's straight in there. Love it. It's a bit of fun, bit of flirty fun. Things were different back then.
Start a bit at the beginning. Start with a joke.
Yeah.
And then I just thought I'd write this message to congratulate you on your podcast. As a massive fan of Dem podcasts. God, I think were we all using Dem back in 2007?
I don't know if we were using.
No,
Dem.
just me.
Don't tell me there's going to be a was up in there as well.
Oh, I hope not. Anyway, as a massive fan of Dem podcasts, I was well happy when I found out that some people from the forum were doing one. I want to do one myself, although not on the subject of computer games, as I rarely taken enough info for myself, let alone able to relay it to anyone else. This is exactly the same as now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But also, what would I have done a podcast on if not games?
But this is kind of what you were saying at the beginning.
Yeah, I know. Nothing has changed here. Yeah. That's what's so mad.
Oh, Matt.
Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, I've only just had the chance to hear both episodes, and they're both really good. Well impressed. The banter sounds... Oh no. The banter sounds unforced and natural. You both seem really confident on the mics, and the podcast zips along without feeling sluggish. What an idiot!
Why is that idiot?
Why am I giving a big old review? It's just a bit much, isn't it?
I don't think it's a bit much. I think it's nice.
Obviously, the forum thread references are good also. I don't really have any constructive criticisms, more ideas instead. And here's the ideas.
Okay. Yeah.
Firstly, and this really dates it, by the way. Firstly, you two should get the Michael and Elmo podcast MySpace page.
Oh, yes. If they didn't have one in 2007, what were they thinking?
I know, what were they thinking?
Yes.
Do we need to explain MySpace for anyone under the age of 60?
I don't think anyone under the age of 60 is listening to this, Matt. We're okay.
Good point. Yeah, good point. I know MySpace is overrun with fucking emos and brightly colored flashing graphics, but a thriving community besides Rollmuck is really important, and you can grab more subscribers that way too. Now that is still relevant today. So I
Mm.
was
MySpace did that thing where you could put like a song that played when people
Mhm.
came, and you would have all these flashing,
Yes.
fit-inducing colors going all over the shop.
I was
God, I
obsessed with
miss.
MySpace back in the day.
Oh man, I loved it so much.
Yeah. Like me and my girlfriend at the time, Mandy, broke up. That was upsetting anyway, but
Mm.
was more upsetting. Not just it wasn't a breakup; it's the fact that I had to change my status on MySpace from
Oh,
in a relationship with at Mandy, whoever, to the single, and like that thing hurt me more. And my
yeah.
friend at the time was like, "Matt, just do it now before she does it." So you've got the. I know that really devastated me anyway.
Wow.
If you're listening, Mandy,
Mandy
then
Rip.
I still love you.
Oh,
Oh no, I don't, no, that's weird. I don't
oh,
actually.
that's the clip I'm going to put out
For
to promote
fuck's
the
sake, you won't listen.
pod.
Okay, what else got here? Secondly, and I know it's only early days yet, and a fairly small listenership so far. That's a dig, wasn't it?
That felt like it. Yeah.
2 listeners, mate. One move bothering. But it doesn't hurt to think big. How about right? This, I think I was ahead of the curve here,
Go on.
and I think I might have invented a very popular website, and you can be the judge of whether I did do that.
Okay.
How about a camera phone picture number? I don't know how you can implement this sort of thing without actually buying another camera phone. Notice I'm calling it camera phones back in 2007, but I'm sure you'll work it out. I was thinking for launches and that, people, listeners, could
Hang
send you
on.
camera phone.
Did you write for launches and that?
I put, I was thinking like for launches and that.
Okay, you actually wrote like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
launches and that. Okay, sorry to
yeah, yeah,
interrupt.
yeah.
Carry on.
I was thinking like for launches and that, people, listeners, could send you camera phone snaps from the queues or just the shots they've taken in game shops or stupid prices they've seen on eBay. I know Straup is like a member of the forum. I know Straup has that feature set up for the forum itself. So I'm sure you could ask him how to get set up for your website. Fans picks, perhaps? Question mark.
That's not a bad idea.
Did I not invent Instagram? Yes or no?
Yeah, it sounds very, very close to it. Yes.
Yes.
When did Instagram start?
Probably just after this, which is weird. Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, is this copyrightable? Like now, this is like
I
getting an idea and posting it to yourself.
don't
Like,
think you can post date it. Apparently that posting it to yourself thing doesn't work.
oh, does it not?
No.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because I wrote a letter to myself saying Facebook in like 2001,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen a penny. So that
Yeah.
does make sense now.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's annoying.
The posting copyright to you doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Sorry for a long email, but I thought you would like some feedback. Anyway, good luck with future episodes. I'll continue to listen intently. Yeah. And this, yeah. So I think one, I invented Instagram. Two, I don't know what I thought of myself, but I thought I'll just DM David, who clearly knows what he's doing, some stupid, advice. But
But that doesn't
that's all,
sound cringy at all. That sounds
it could
like
have been a lot worse,
someone
couldn't it?
it sounds like someone enthused, and I hear that as a really supportive email. You're not wading in like a bell end going,
No, it could have been worse. I mean, yeah, the language was fine, even to read in 2025. But yeah, that's basically kind of how our friendship began. I love the show. I enjoy Dave's content on Rollmuck. We met at a Bath meet, so the meet annual meet every year for the forum was in Bath, which is where kind of Edge and a lot of our publications were. So that just happened to be where everyone met every year. Met
yeah.
Dave. We just hit off from minute one, and all lots of office references, obviously, and yeah, so I did that, and then David then suggested, "Oh, you should probably like try and get involved in the show somehow." I think I might have had a couple of guest appearances, but he's like, "Why don't you do like some segments?" So I did little bits here and there, and yeah, moved up to Leeds in 2007, and that was around the same time that then Joypod was started to be sponsored by Spong, which is like an old gaming website, still
Oh,
around.
I remember Spong. I think
Yeah,
I had some kind of connection with Spong. I think there was a guy. Who was the guy
So
that?
so Tim Smith was the editor. There was Marcus Dawson who was also involved. Another guy called
I
Gareth, someone,
I don't
and then
remember those names, but I'm sure I had some kind of connection with Spong at some point.
yeah. So I don't know how that connection even. I mean, it might be when I moved up to Leeds, and then the people I knew up here from the forum, they all lived, relatively close, and they were friends with Spong. Anyway, in a short space of time after that, like Joypod was sponsored by Spong, and so I was doing bits from the Spongcast, and I would like grab a lot of like mics and mixers and take that down to London for EGX events and stuff. And I think that's actually where I met Sean as well. And I looked at some old pictures. I think it's 2011, in the year I met Sean. Sean, obviously another host of the computer game show. So yeah, I was always like doing little bits here and there, and helped out start one of the podcasts on Rollmuck, but never really did anything on my own. And then, yeah, again, became close friends with David, became close friends with James. We used to play like Left 4 Dead and stuff together. And
Left 4 Dead, man, what a game!
Yeah,
what a game!
Yeah, Peels here. My God,
I used to love team kills on Left 4 Dead. I miss team kills in games, and I would do.
Helldivers does that so well.
Like, it does, and I think I might have done it with certainly with David, maybe with James. Team kills, you'd shoot them, and they'd be there. And you go, you'd revive them. They would shoot you, and you go, oh no, I promise I won't do it again. And then we'd just keep shooting them.
Yeah,
I love a good team kill, man. But doing it again and again and again and again until you get kicked from the server.
No, have we played Helldivers together? I seem to remember you shooting James in the arse a lot, but I wasn't sure if that was a video I watched or that was when we were all together.
That was a dream you had. We should do We should do Rainbow Six Vegas again. Were you in?
Yes,
were you part of that?
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. That was such a great night.
We should do that.
We should definitely do that again. Yeah.
A couple of quick things going off on a slight tangent. Are you part of the Severance?
Yes,
posse?
I'm watching Severance. Yeah.
Because I tried it ages ago, and I got through halfway through episode 1, and for some reason I thought, oh, this is boring. Nothing's happening. And then you guys were talking about it so much the other week. I thought, oh, sod it, I'll go in. How could I think there was nothing happening in it? It's every second is packed with stuff.
But you're not the first person to say that. I think maybe it's maybe David's Joe or someone else said, like they watched a couple of episodes, and it does start slow, but there's such a good premise, and I'm loving season 2.
How his hair annoys me a little bit, I have to be honest.
What? Why is that? I mean, I'm jealous of it.
Is it? Well, of course. Is it a mullet? I can't work it out. It's very thick, and that bit on covering the neck upsets me.
I don't think it's a mullet, but I think that's what it's so good about, like the style, the cinematography, or like the sets of the show, is that when they're in Lumon, in the actual kind of their work it's harder sometimes to like determine the era. We know it's one day because of this show, but and the hair is kind of like, is it 70s? It's kind of like the computers they work on. It's kind of retro futurism. It's kind of 60s, 70s, but with clearly more modern technology than that. So I think the hair just kind of like leans into that. Which I think is great.
Where are you? Where are you up to in season 2? Have you done the first 3 episodes?
Yeah, I'm fully up to date. Yeah.
Okay. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm loving it. Yeah.
The second, because I did first season in 2 days, and then boom, straight into season 2. So there was no gap for me.
Okay, that's good.
Season 2 feels a little try hard. There are some great moments in it. The bit in the basement, fantastic. Loved it.
Yeah.
That was incredible. The goats, Miss Wong, feels a little try hard to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit down on it.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'm kind of. There felt like there's revelations much more frequently in season 1. We're obviously only early in season 2, but and season 1 set up so many threads that I'm excited to see where it goes. And it's just a really compelling show. You can't really take your eyes off the screen. I'm loving it.
It looks beautiful. Did you see the thing they did in Central Station in New York where they did a pod? And
I thought that was really
good. A pop-up thing, and they just went in and acted it out. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, I thought it's so well done. I mean, I think they're doing it all. They were all doing it all day. So
were they there that long?
Yeah, well, 8 hours, I reckon. So yeah, like that's a lot for it to be on, acting, playing a character in this kind of like see-through glass pod all day. In was it Central Station or Grand?
Was Grand Central? Were you about to say Grand Central Station? Is that
Where's that?
Is that not? I don't know what it's called. Is it in New York?
Yeah,
the train station in New York.
Yeah, that's the one I thought it was.
Maybe it is Grand Central. Were they there for all 8 hours, or did you just guess that?
No, I thought I looked into that. I'm not going to Google it now. So I'm professional, but I'm very sure I looked and I was like,
So
man, that's,
I had
a long old time, isn't it?
I'm very fortunate. I have a cleaner that comes around once every couple of weeks.
Oh,
Very nice
hello there.
woman. She does a great job. I won't. Let's call
Is she
her
listening? Oh,
no, but
okay.
let's call her Sophie because I don't want to say her
Because
real
that's her
name.
name.
But I was watching. My youngest Kim has got me into all these. Have you seen a thing called The Eight Show on Netflix?
No.
It's this Korean. Oh, it's this. So he watched Squid Games,
Hmm.
and he watched All of Us Are Dead, and then he watched this thing called The Eight Show, which is a bit like Squid Games, but episode 7 in that is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen on it. Honestly, it really upset me.
Really? Is
And
it for
my
kids or what?
no, it's not. But my
Okay.
13-year-old said, "Oh, you've got to watch the Eight Show. Let me know when you've watched it and what you make of episode 7." And I wrote to him, went, "This is the most upsetting thing I've ever seen on a television. It's horrible."
Oh,
Anyway,
really? Okay, I'll watch that.
if you like Squid Games, it's not Squid Games, but everyone goes, "Oh, it's just Squid Games." It's not, and you kind of got to get to episode 3, and then you go, "Oh shit, this is wild." But
Okay.
I was watching that, and what did I say? The cleaner was called Sophie.
Sophie, yeah.
She came in. She, oh, what you watch? I saw it's a Korean show. My kid's into all these Korean shows. She's, oh, did you watch Squid Games? You went, yeah, we love that. She went, well, of course, it's based on a true story.
Oh.
I went, what?
Sophie, what?
So I went, Sophie,
Sophie's
what?
lost it.
She said, yeah, yeah, it's based on a true story. And I normally in those with anyone else, I'd go, oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
And I went, I just laughed. Went, Sophie, I really don't think. She goes, no, 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 I read it, and it got to the point where I had to actually Google it, thinking, have I missed an important part of Squid Game
Yeah, it's a
lore?
famous story. Yeah. We're all taught that at school.
It's a famous story. To put everyone's mind at ease, Squid Game is not based on a true story, so don't worry about that. Have you
Okay.
been watching Beast Games?
Yes, yes. And yeah, I thought it'd be rubbish because Elodie, my daughter, loves Mr. Beast,
Yeah,
and I'll watch these things. And it is impressive. He's got a lot of money. Like the stuff he does in his regular videos, it's very outlandish. It's very bombastic. It's impressive production wise. But then I
yeah.
thought, oh god, Mr. Beast Squid Games, what the hell? But I am genuinely loving it.
It's
Like
phenomenal, isn't it?
surprisingly so. So like we watched a bunch of episodes 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, like production wise, it's really impressive. All the cameras and the start of 1,000 contestants and how they work them down is really, really good. And there are some genuine kind of relationships developing, and some of the games are really clever. How they kind of
Yeah.
get people to go against each other. But we watched 3 episodes, and I was like, okay, this must be it because it's all on Prime. And then Elodie's like, no, that's the end right for now. I was like, what do you mean for now? She goes, no, we've got to wait another week. It's like, what do you mean we've got to wait another week? I want to watch it all now.
Yeah, old school.
So yeah,
Old
we watched
school.
we watched one last night. I think there's 2 left. It's really surprisingly brilliant.
What? Just give me a little thread of what the last one you watched was. Give me a soupçon.
There's lots of money in the middle, and people had to make
Oh,
decisions.
terrible!
Yeah,
What? I mean, this is going to go out in a couple of weeks, and the rest of this podcast is going to be Beast Game spoilers. So if you've had enough, it's Matt Murray, it's the computer game show going well. But um, the guy that took like 625
yes,
thousand fucking
that
dollars,
was
man.
because yeah. So just to explain the premise, there's $1 million in the middle of this, like this camp where they're all staying, and an order was selected with 10 people left, and the first person comes out, and yeah, basically you go out, you can take whatever you want for this $1 million, you can take all of it or you can take none of it, you select how much you want, and you go back to your little house on in the camp, you call it a camp.
Yeah, the city. I think it's a city. We're supposed to
City, yes.
believe.
And then the next person comes out, next person doesn't know explicitly how much was taken previously, but they can see like the running total. And yeah, like the first person takes 100 grand, which is
Everyone
what,
could take 100 grand each if they were
yeah,
playing as a
yeah.
team.
If they all take 100 grand, they all have the same amount, millions done, brilliant. 100 grand first person. I was like, okay, I imagine at this point they're all very close. They're in the final. It's just 10 of them. They're much more like a family. They'll do it. But then the second person. So the second person took, was it the second person one that took like 200 odd?
It was like 225,000, and he
Yeah.
didn't get any flack for it.
No. And yeah, he said, like, I come in with a number and it's 225 or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, that's more than I thought you would take, but fine. And then the third person comes up and he's like, look, I've got a lot of debts. I think his debts are like 530 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so we'll take 530. He's like, 650. I was like, okay, fine, just a little bit on top. Yeah. So by that
And
point,
the
like
others
most
come
of it had
out and there's
gone.
like a few dollar bills just
Yeah.
flapping around.
Yeah. And then the last lot, like, okay, well, one person took nothing. And now I'm fascinated to see how that's really going to impact next episodes. Like
Yeah.
we do kind of know a bit based on what was mentioned, but yeah, and the rest, some of us took like $3,500. That was it.
But then the
Brilliant.
beauty of it is the guy, everyone hates the guy that took the
Yeah.
650.
JC.
And but then he goes nuts and like calls them all in for a meeting
Yeah.
and points out that everyone is betraying each other or something. Man
It,
up. So you got the money, stand there, man up and own it.
it was incredible drama. I think
I
there's more
love it.
drama in that than there was all of this year's traitors, honestly.
This is the first time I've seen the traitors. I don't need to see it again. I feel
Okay.
like I've seen it. It was
No, it is great. Season 2 was amazing.
all right. Well, this is the Beast
These
Games
games tick.
podcast.
Yeah, that's that done.
We'll be back next week when we'll be discussing more Beast games. I think it's phenomenal television, and I think all the TV companies are looking at it, thinking, "Fuck, how do we do that?"
Yeah.
You couldn't do it over here. It would be illegal to do that kind of thing on British TV. But he has set the bar
Yeah.
for exciting
It's really
game
impressive.
shows,
Yeah.
reality shows.
I'm excited to see the final 2 episodes.
We're done.
What? We're done.
We're done. And this one is, I think, the same length as Sean's, which is
surely
long.
another 20 minutes won't hurt. I can't believe we're done. There's so much more to say.
We've done about 40 minutes or so, which is
I'm
long.
so
We've
sorry.
run long. What? Oh, now don't do that. Don't be sorry. This is good. I've enjoyed it. Have you? How do you? Now we've done it. This is your first solo mission. First little run out of the mothership. How are you feeling about it?
I think I killed it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you will not see me on a computer game show anymore. I'll be too busy being on other shows. That's it now.
But what if I told you you did kill it and it was really, really good? Would you believe that? Or are you the kind of person that's going to go to bed and go, oh, fuck, why did I say that?
No, I probably wouldn't do that. I mean, like when we stop recording each Monday night, it's really rare for me to say, like, oh, that was great. Like, it's really rare for me to think that. But when I do, I do. But no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've had a great time. It's been great talking to you, and there's so much more I want to say. So, but hey, I'm not going to leave this thinking, oh, what an idiot.
Good.
Yeah, I probably should have done this years ago, but
yeah,
I don't now. So,
well, hopefully we'll hear you do more stuff on your own, away from those 3 guys.
I might do Graham Norton now.
Well, why not? Go for it. Matt, it's so lovely to see you. Thank you so much for this. If people want to go and check out the Computer Game Show, it's on your usual podcast providers. There's a Patreon and all of those wonderful things. Anything else you want to plug before I click the stop record button?
No. Yeah, tcgs.co is the website which has everything. So go there if you want to find out a bit more about what we do.
Thank you, man. It's nice to see you.
You too, dude.
All right. Bye.